Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, MonarchToken.io, the complete crypto solution. Monarch Wallet is now available for Android, iOS, and desktop devices today. Do you want to learn how to mine crypto? Well, all you have to do is visit cryptomining.tools for profitable crypto mining information today. The Divi Project, that is diviproject.org, your one-click solution for staking and masternodes. Earn cryptocurrency using social media platforms like SOME.social, SOMEE.social, New Era Social Media. Get paid to write reviews, like reviews, comment on reviews. Visit bravocoin.com and get paid to review, available for Android and iOS devices, bravocoin.com. CoinFlip, the world's best Bitcoin ATM. Better service, better fees, better visit coinflip.tech today. Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, MonarchToken.io, the complete crypto solution. Monarch Wallet is now available for... All right, we're live. Hey, how goes it? I'm Ken Bozak, here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today I'm with my bro, Ben Nolan of Cryptovoxels. How goes it, Ben?
Yeah, really good. Nice to see you, man.
Appreciate you dealing with the technical difficulties today and being able to work around the schedule and popping on for a late night podcast here on the East Coast. Thanks again.
Yeah, actually works perfectly for New Zealand because this is like 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so
Oh,
very kind of
perfect.
relaxed way to roll the day.
Nice, man. So, for the viewers that are tuning in that may not know of Cryptovoxels, maybe introduce yourself, Ben. Maybe a little bit about who you are, how you got into this space, and how that led you to Cryptovoxels.
Yeah, so I've been Nolan. I'm in Wellington in New Zealand. I've been like a web developer forever, and I've had this kind of hobby interest in virtual worlds for a really long time, kind of like back from Second Life days through to now. And I've always been working on virtual worlds and building different versions of them. About 2.5, 3 years ago, I got into the Ethereum development space, and I kind of realized that you could have this virtual world, which was where sort of the land ownership and the way the world was distributed up was recorded on the blockchain, which just seemed like super. It just felt very much like the metaverse, like Ready Player One or like Snow
Right.
Crash described it. And so, yeah, built some prototypes that then turned into some stuff that went into Decentraland, and then afterwards started Cryptovoxels. The Cryptovoxels land contract got executed, I think, in June or July in 2018. So we're approaching sort of the second birthday for Cryptovoxels now.
Happy
Um,
birthday, and congrats on
yeah,
surviving a very strong winter.
yeah, it was a hell of a winter.
So, I guess let's just get rid of the elephant in the room here and separate the differences between Decentraland and Cryptovoxels, because I think that's the most common question I see the most in the threads when I mention you, and let's just go over that. So, what sets you apart from alternative projects in this space?
Yeah, so there's like 4 projects in the space which are kind of in NFTs. There's Decentraland, there's Cryptovoxels, there's Somnium Space, and there's the Sandbox. And like to go over all of them, Decentraland's web-based like Cryptovoxels, so you can load it in your browser. But with Decentraland, they've kind of got this SDK and this full integration with like Blender and 3D modeling tools. So if you can use 3D modeling tools, you can build any kind of crazy geometry and then put it into their world. With Cryptovoxels, it's a lot more like Minecraft. You actually build inside the world. You don't need any external tools. You place blocks and build them up, and then you can copy and paste NFTs and images and box models, 3D models into the world. With Somnium Space, you download it. I think it's on the Steam store, and it's kind of got these crazy in-world building tools, and you can build like neat geometry and stuff. It's very fancy. It's got really good VR support. But yeah, you can't do that in your browser. You can't post a link to it on Twitter as easily. And then Sandbox. Sandbox, I think, is download as well, or maybe you can do a browser thing, but I think it's mostly download, and it's not. I don't think it's open for access yet. But they've got an NFT-based world, and they've kind of got in-world editing tools with boxes and stuff as well. So we're all in a similar space, but we're all kind of approaching it from different ways. And I think that's one of the biggest discoveries I made about metaverse stuff in general, is that all these projects probably won't take over the entire 3D art space or the 3D world space. We'll probably use different ones for different things,
Yep.
and then like walk from one to another. That seems to me the way that these projects are going at the moment.
I've seen that even with the legacy alternatives as well, like Alt Space or I'm trying to think of the other
Exactly.
versions, but
Like,
like
like VR chat and Big Room and stuff.
yeah,
Like they've all
exactly.
got huge communities, and you go from one to another for different events and
Yep.
stuff. And I think that's most likely how this metaverse is going to be is on multiple programs.
I think that will keep it clean too, and that is the governance level, right? People will probably, the users will probably determine which platform is for what, rather than the platform determine how the users utilize the platform.
Sorry, I missed that last bit.
How big is the Cryptovoxel team at the moment?
Okay, so there's me and Zuni work full time on it from this office here. Zuni's just down over there, and then we've got three contractors that help out as well. So there's five of us at the moment. But I think, but yeah, so that's what we've got at the moment, and it grew from in January. It was still just me, and this guy Destros had helped out a bit and done a bunch of sound production for it. But this month we've sort of finally started to build the team out properly.
Nice, nice, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from more team members usually begets more progress, and to see what's going to be coming through a very obvious bull market is going to be amazing because you can compare it to the progress you've made in the bear market. So that's like a
Well, I
catalyst.
and I, yeah, well, and the thing is, I'm a real believer. Like I've been doing web stuff forever, and I remember seeing like after the .com crash, like there was a website called Flickr. It was like a photo sharing site that came out, and it was
I remember
delicious. And
that.
there were a couple of really interesting websites that came out in this big crypt in this big venture capital bear kind of winter. And so I think the same thing happened in Ethereum. There's this big bear market, and so a whole bunch of like all the interest and speculation and kind of hype went away. Everyone kind of left because they'd all been burned, but you had developers building on it. And that is the thing is I believe in the Ethereum developer community, and the tooling and everything that's available around it is amazing. Like I love Ethereum for the technology.
Yep. And Ethereum is not too far from just being one of the, and probably is one of the biggest blockchain operating systems that you could put up there with like Linux, Android, things to that effect, like with the amount of developer base.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of people outside of crypto don't see that because they just see the speculation side of it, and so they
Yep.
kind of blind their eyes. Like all these, smart people that I know on Twitter just totally discount the crypto world, and I'm like, that's crazy. It's
Well,
the
they only
deep,
see the
most
currency.
interesting.
They don't see the
Exactly,
technology.
exactly.
All right, so I wanted to do a shout out to Digibles. My bro Steve Wand has an amazing group chat that I'm in, and I pulled some questions from the audience there. Josie and Matt and a bunch of other people are involved in the chat there. And so I wanted to start with the first question here: is plans for Origin enhancements in the short term? What we can expect, and then let's talk a little bit about like what additional features are in the pipeline long term.
Yeah, so I don't think we've got like I don't think we've got anything that will like pour into Origin City at the moment. I think what we're working on at the moment is making it run better on mobile, making it
Mm.
run better on VR, making it run better on desktops, and just like there's so much awesome art in the world at the moment, and people building such cool stuff that we really just want to make sure that it runs really smoothly for everyone. We do have some features coming down, but they're probably not mind-bendingly exciting. We've got proper video support. We've got a new kind of editor, which is kind of much nicer UI. We've got drag and drop NFTs from your wallet into the world, stuff like that. So
You
we've
say
got
this isn't like that's awesome. Wait, so I can drag and drop an NFT from my wallet into Cryptovoxels. What does that look like?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a video of it here, but Zuni did it. Basically, you click a button and a window pops up with all your different collections of NFTs that you own. You click that collection, it shows a little preview of it, and you can drag and drop it into the world. And it's just instantly spawned, and everyone around you can see it. So it's for editing your parcels. At the moment, you have to like copy a URL from OpenSea, and it's just made it a lot easier and a lot more fun.
Oh, that's gonna be hella fun to see everybody just dumping their crypto kitties into Cryptovoxels and just seeing these farms of cat mobs just running around in VR. I'm so looking forward to
There's
this.
There's some amazing, like I found this because there's lots of crypto kitty galleries and crypto voxels, and I love visiting them. But I found one the other day where someone had a big parcel with a huge and just a single high res image of one kitty. It was some kind of hell kitty that was on fire, and it looked
Oh,
super cool. And I think the last feature that we're working on, which like, it's pretty speculative, so I'm not sure how it's going to look yet. But I've got a friend of mine who does this really kind of high end light mapping, ray tracing stuff, and we're getting him to like. He made a bunch of screenshots for his engine Substrata, which is like this other client that connects to Cryptovoxels. anyway, he's working on the lighting for Cryptovoxels to make it look really, really nice and to allow us to have day-night cycles and stuff like that. So
That's
I
gonna be
guess there are
sick.
some exciting stuff coming down.
That is, yeah, environmental is definitely exciting, and I think that's something again, you're probably like, hey, it's not, we got bigger things in mind than this. This is nothing, but to a lot of the people that are just on the sidelines spectating what's happening in the space with the technology at hand, just like the video support you mentioned and this environmental, like environment, be mobile friendly, like this is what we need to get mass adoption ready. I know a lot of people want mass adoption now, but the roads are being built for it now, and this is what we need, is this UI UX interface that is so familiar. It's almost like playing Minecraft on your damn phone.
Yeah, like it's like I sort of set the goal in January that we've got about 1,000 people building in the world. There's about 500 owners and lots of people have collaborators. So there's about 1,000 people building, and I want to get that to like 10,000 by the end of the year, and that will mean making it a lot more accessible to everyone, making it kind of to crypto noobs and kind of like really kind of bringing them on board and being able to help them build and exist in the world. And so that's what a lot of these features are. Once we get that underway and we feel like we've got it rolling, then I just want to add cool random shit to the world again, because I miss doing that. It's cool just coming out with a feature out of the side of your brain and just spitting it out in the world and seeing what everyone does with it. So
Yeah, I think the video aspect's going to be cool to see how like the users incorporate it in different ways, probably ways you don't even imagine. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind was I would love to see tile floors like in a disco where it just turns red, blue, green, red, blue, green, and that have those pixels be the floor when you walk into my nightclub.
people do that already with the animated GIF stuff. So yeah, it's
Oh, true.
what
Good
people do with
point.
it totally bends your mind.
Yeah, I have my own GIF NFT I made with mintables.app, and it was really easy way to make an NFT. And I have my old logo without the beard and my new logo updated with the beard, and it just flips through. And I have it. It's a limited NFT minted on Ethereum. And the cool part is I could port that into Cryptovoxels with the drag and drop from the wallet and have my right there on my door or something, like as or a billboard
Exactly.
even.
Yeah, and then someone can click on your NFT and make you an offer for it on OpenSea because they decide they really want to own your beardless NFT.
Well, yeah, I have a few on OpenSea that way, and I think that's a great way to see like the virtual world meet, sort of like that real world feeling where you can just like walk into an environment and be like, oh, that's a cute crypto kitty. Click on OpenSea, offer, done, and like you almost walked into a store and did a purchase and walked out. It's very similar to buying a skin in Fortnite or shopping on Amazon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I find um, so it's interesting that people make galleries in Cryptovoxels and stuff because I had someone say, "How is this different from a 2D gallery?" And it's so different. Like I don't know if I could describe it accurately, but just that feeling of walking through a space that someone's designed to showcase the art that they've collected, that they've found on the internet. I collect NFTs as well, and there's just some of them. I totally get that you want to display them and show what you have.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember when
it's
NFTs started getting backs. I was like, wait, there's a back to this NFT? Hold the hell on. And you can rotate it around in 360, and you actually have like this whole item, and yeah, I want to be able to see that item in a 3D environment, not just in a 2D environment. And to see that support natively is going to be really interesting. And so, second question I have here from the chat over there at Digitables is what was your growth strategy, and what do you think attracted people to the platform most? How do you plan on keeping the interest momentum going? Kind of avoiding that CryptoKitty slowdown, that cool down that kind of happened.
So my growth strategy was to try and avoid it as much as possible. I would list parcels at random times a day and not tell people. I would not do any hype. I would not kind of do any of the numbers and stuff because all I wanted is I wanted to get artists to come in and buy parcels and build stuff. I didn't want to get a bunch of holders to buy. Like I love everyone that's
Smart.
invested and bought in the city, and I thankful to everyone that's done it. But I really wanted to attract people that do the builds because the builds is what makes the city awesome. Like having an empty city where we sold it all for a really huge markup would be good. I don't know. It wouldn't be good for the city. It would be terrible for the city. And it's all about making Origin City exist as a place. So the growth strategy was to get artists on board and get creators and builders. And luckily they found us and they joined the community like that. The longer term plan is, we're always going to grow the team slowly and we're always going to be quite conservative with our planning. So if there is, if the attention moves somewhere else, we'll keep building Cryptovoxels and we'll keep building it out. And the goal is for this project to be around in 10 years' time. And, you know, we'll always be making it better and solving some problem quite well. And so hopefully, if we keep building features that people want and optimizing for the use cases that people have, hopefully it'll just keep growing. I'm not a
Yeah,
growth
I
hacker,
couldn't
and
agree more, man.
I'm not like a crazy kind of VC build it up enormous and fast. I just want this to exist and to
I
be,
think that's why you're seeing
and so that's our
success,
goal.
because you're not one of those that to the market and you're like, oh, we sold X amount of NFT, but those people that bought them are speculators. They're just going to sell it back to somebody later that's actually planning on utilizing it in the environment to begin with. Why not eliminate that middleman? You know, that guy who's just going to pump and dump on you, the investor who never plans on being the end user. And that's what Cryptovoxels has achieved, you know, quite honestly.
And I would say that people would counter that and say that a lot of the sales that happen on Wednesday, because we list all at once now, well, I haven't studied it carefully, but I get reports that people buy them and resell them, and that's part of what makes the market operate, I guess. And but last year we managed to distribute to a lot of artists. It's a lot harder now because there's a lot more demand, but I still try and connect with people and get artists in the world through various different ways. So
Yeah, you can't avoid
yeah,
scalping completely in this space, but you've
no,
done
totally
better
not.
than other. What I was mean is like you'll see these projects announced like, oh, we've sold an NFT for six figures to an anonymous bidder on OpenSea, and I'm like, it was your CEO who bought it from you. What do you mean anonymous bidder? You know, and I haven't seen any pump and dump bullshit from Cryptovoxels, man. And it's just been refreshing to see a successful project not have to go the route of the whole shilling, pump and dumping, like we were joking about earlier, like getting a celebrity to endorse it for absolutely not even that, nothing to do with the tech or spin. Just grab a celebrity and throw some crypto at it. No, and it's just a refreshing, thing to see in this space and to see the success beget that too as well. Like it's well deserved, and I hope that it inspires other projects to go this earnest route. And that grassroots momentum that you have. I do see that it is strong. You have a very strong community. And I wanted to talk about the artistic side of the project and the community involvement. What do you think attracts artists to Cryptovoxels or blockchain technology in general?
I think people are attracted to the blockchain because it creates this whole new way of creating digital prints. Like before, you had to get a print and then put it in a envelope in a tube and then send it to people who wanted to buy it. And the overhead of buying that art is a pain. And then once you get that art, you've got to block frame it and stick it on the wall. And Josie sent me an amazing print of hers, and it's beautiful. And it's in the middle of our lounge, and I love it. But um, yeah, exactly. But I being like it's physical media is a thing, but you really want to collect it. Like you don't want to. I don't know. There's something about owning a digital version of art that is. I can't explain it properly, but it's awesome. It feels really good. You actually own it. You feel like it's quite different from being a patron where you just give money to an artist or something. You're buying something from an artist, and you might
Mm-hmm.
be able to sell it for the same price. But once I collect these pieces of art, I don't want to. Once I have these NFTs, I just stay in my wallet because I like having them, and I couldn't explain why it is, but there is something very real and very powerful about people being able to tokenize their art and sell it online.
I think
I
it's
think that's what.
very, very linear to the legacy art industry too, because artists will have a unique, a legit painting. It's not a print, right? It's a one of one. They'll have that painting in a vault somewhere, and they'll just keep the certificate to it in their wallet, and then they'll have a print on the wall to represent the investment in their safe. And
Yeah,
this is very similar to having like a screenshot of your crypto kitty as your wallpaper to represent your investment that's in your MetaMask wallet.
yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, I haven't. I think there's a lot of subtleties about the whole system, how the whole system works. Because I guess I've got to say it surprised me how much, because there were not that many collections of NFTs when we first turned up on NFT support and Cryptovoxels. Maybe there was maybe 80 on OpenSea, and I don't know how many collections they have now, but it must be hundreds and hundreds or thousands. And so many of them are amazing art. Like there's very little kind of flood filled, just random people spamming these collections. There's so much really genuine, interested, invested art, and it's amazing that so many artists have been attracted to the platform, to the NFT platform.
Yeah, I think that there's and the different ways they utilize the NFT technology too. Like the difference between a raw NFT ERC 721 and something like what Engine's doing with those 1155s, where you can like back the NFT with an asset and sort of give it an actual value of like say 5 Engine per NFT, and now you could say, is this NFT's art more valuable than the asset backed by it? Do you want to like destroy the art for the raw material behind it and recycle it, or keep the art for what it's worth and what it is? And it's, I think that is, that makes that your art is painted on is like a $500 canvas. So regardless of the art on it, the frame and canvas is worth $500. I could just wipe off this art and sell the canvas and frame for the 5 Engine or whatever. So I think that's really interesting to see the NFT technology going that route. I don't think many people expected that when CryptoKitties just launched.
Yeah, exactly. Like CryptoKitties, you didn't realize that they were inventing such an awesome whole. Well, and CryptoFunks before it was inventing just this entire cool ecosystem. Because it didn't, it's very true that saying that the things that become big look like toys when they first start out. You see
Yep.
it and you're like, oh, it's just a funny game. But now you're like, oh my god, it's so clever and so ahead of its time,
Yeah, it's the
or of
Pong
its
of
time.
it's the Pong of crypto. Like,
Yeah.
CryptoKitties is
Yes.
our
Yes.
Pong. And looking back, it's going to be such a joke, but the look at how much money you could get for an original console with the original Pong game today.
Oh
That
yes.
nostalgic value. Forget about the utility or the sentimental value overweighs all of that. So keeping, I think, and I have a couple Gen 0, Gen 1 virgin CryptoKitties, and I think virgin cats may go for more in the future because they haven't been bred or what it's going to be. I think that's the thing. Forget, let's not get into that, but let's talk about the community involvement and trying to like create more incentives for that, like with plans for like bounties or any desired community contributions you're looking forward to, like in game like mini games or marketplaces like you mentioned, anything that you would like to see the users create in the space.
I'd like there to be a lot of cool games and scripts in the world, because that's largely why I got into virtual worlds, was to build a good platform for people to program on, because I love programming and I love building stuff with scripts. Right, I'm not very good at placing the blocks and being artistic with building stuff. I'm pretty basic at that, but I can do it. But I love writing programs to do things. You can't do that very well at the moment because the scripting API is not very well documented and it's not very strong, and it just really needs some attention and some love put on it. So I think when we get that better, I'd really like to run because we did a Vox competition at the end of last year, and I got two of my friends over and we had some beers on a Saturday night, and we judged all the Voxes. We made a video of it, and it was really cool. It was really kind of brought all these Vox artists and really showed the cool stuff that they built. So I'd love to have the same kind of larger competition for scripting, just to really encourage people to do cool stuff in it. But that's really blocking on us, and we've got to get that happening first.
You think a
The other thing
hackathon would be fruitful for something like that? Trying to go to like a
yeah,
conference and partnering with a conference for like a sponsored hackathon?
yeah, well, I'd love to do some traveling this year, and doing a hackathon would be amazing. But with COVID-19, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think we might all
I'm
be
waiting
visiting
that
each
one
other
out
over.
myself, right?
Yeah,
Well, that's why, and you know what,
exactly.
dude? Super big segue here, guys, and apologize me for getting off topic for this, but I think this is an opportunity I want to seize. Your thoughts on the potential, and I've seen this. I've been watching it in Altspace. The Altspace VR meetup has increased because of the decrease of traveling. I don't care what the media says. I'm seeing it. They're late to report on this, but the activity I'm seeing in conferences and meetups and all these things in virtual reality have grown exponentially in the past like 2 weeks alone.
So Google have cancelled their I/O conference, right? Which is what, I don't know, like 5,000 developers go to the. Sorry, they're
No, no,
having
it's
a party.
fine.
They've cancelled their I/O conference, which is 5,000 or however many people it is in one place. Surely they'll need to replace that with something. And it would, I would absolutely think that people would, on Big Room or on VR Chat or on Cryptovoxels or on any of these platforms, that people start to have conferences in there, especially the aspect of a conference, because I don't go to a conference. Like, the talks are cool, I guess, but I go to a conference to have beers with people afterwards and to chat in the corridors. And so I think this is where the virtual metaverse spaces can be really amazing, because you can have that hangout, you can meet
Hmm.
people, you can go and look, you can go and have a shared experience. Do you need me to move somewhere else? Is this way too loud, or is this okay?
No, no, I think it's louder on your end than it is on my end because the decibel level isn't bouncing when I hear it. It's very low.
Okay, sweet, easy as.
Yeah, audience, let me know if the background chatter is too much. They'll be the ones to tell the best, but I think it sounds fine on our end over here.
They're having a
Uh,
cleaning party in the office.
so yeah, I think that the incentive for this actually begets with the infrastructure, right? And I think virtual reality conference organizers actually needs to be more of a thing before we see more of these events take place, right? Like car shows aren't done by the car companies; they go to an organizer who knows how to put the 50 pieces of that puzzle together to make a conference a conference. There aren't that many alternatives or options even for like that. If I wanted to do a Cryptovoxels conference, who do I go to help me organize a conference in VR?
Well, and the thing is with these conferences is I feel like all the bits are there, and like maybe like you say, you just need some organizers to put them together because you can do a WebEx conference and you can show all the slides and everyone can get in there and be in a room and chat. But like, how do you go to the after party? The after party should be in Cryptovoxels. The after party should be in VR chat. They should be organized like that. You should send swag out to people in the
Mm-hmm.
mail around the world, and everyone should open it at the same time. Like, there's all these things are quite solvable, and instead of because if someone invited me to a WebEx conference, I would not be excited. But if you invited me to a virtual conference that had multiple events on multiple platforms,
Yep.
where lots of ways to meet people and to chat and to see amazing art and to see live performers and stuff, that I feel would be really cool. And then you would actually start to chip away at that super carbon making, virus spreading. I fucking love going to conferences, but I don't go to many because New Zealand's
Dude,
at
as
the
soon
arse end
as
of the
I got
world.
home from NFT NYC, I was sick for 4 days, dude. As soon as I got home from the conference, man.
I would have had to fly for 30 hours to be there for 48 hours and then fly back. I was just like, I can't do it. It'll murder me. And, Greta Thunberg will be unhappy with me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's such, and she's right. It is such a waste to see a lot of those environmentalists preaching about, saving the environment and all this and taking private jets to get to the venue to do the speech when they could have Skyped in. It's not. I don't understand where they're missing, or not seeing the hilarity in this. It's almost ignorance to their own their own joke. They are like, it's almost like environmentalists are memes, by accident.
Yeah, and it's funny talking about this being on Ethereum, right? Because currently the network is backed up by proof of work, but I love that Ethereum has got plans to move to proof of stake. Like there is a longer term plan to make it infrastructure that we can all just rely on, and any qualms that people have around the energy efficiency of it just go away.
I
So
think proof of work actually is inspiring energy efficiency from everywhere. I mean, a lot of these power plants and power providers are actually more partnered with miners than they are with anybody else in a specific industry, right? So I think they're
absolutely, and,
starting
and that's why
to.
I find. And I'm not. I haven't studied this enough, so this is just me spouting off. But they do these calculations. It's the energy use of Ireland to run the Bitcoin network at the moment. One, I suspect people are running way more efficient ASICs than they let on. And then two, like if you've got a hydro dam in the back of China which doesn't have anywhere to send its power to, then there's build a big server farm there and mine Bitcoin. So
Yep.
I'm hoping that things aren't as bad as the
No,
media
well,
makes
the
them out.
like you mentioned, the amount of power they're measuring that Bitcoin consumes from these places, they're not taking in consideration that it is basically from the runoff. So there's about 10 to
Yeah,
twenty
yes,
percent of produced energy that actually never makes it out up to the residential lines because of power loss, power line, and whatever they amp it down, and all these words that I'm not too familiar because I'm not an engineer in that sense. But
yeah.
I do know that the miners tap in before that, so they're actually getting energy that would just be runoff. It's not accounted for power, so they're not taking from anybody, and they're not actually costing any more production revenue resource. So nobody's chucking more coal into a fire to generate any more electricity for the
Yeah,
miners.
exactly. I don't think that proof of work is perfect, but like you can turn it off. Like if
Mm-hmm.
electricity gets expensive because they have to fire up a coal system, then you turn all your computers off instantly. If electricity is suddenly too cheap because they're making too much of it and it's negatively priced, then fire up all your miners
Yep.
again. Like there are things about it which is quite interesting anyway.
Yeah, hydro
But
dams are
sorry, I
gonna
feel
be
well.
huge, man. I feel like they're finally getting their comeback. All the hydro dams from the nuclear power plant boom, all the hydro dams are like, finally, this is our time to shine, guys. This is what we've all been waiting for. The poor hydro dam team. All right, so outside of the art the art use case, because I think that is the main use case right now for environments like Cryptovoxels and technology for NFTs. Outside of the art, what use cases are you seeing emerging in the environment for Cryptovoxels and NFTs?
That's a big one because you asked that question before this came and run through what they were, and um, it's been interesting watching them grow. It's been interesting the different use cases come up, and that's just my way of budging. Say I don't know. The art aspect of Cryptovoxels is massive at the moment, and it's going really well. And I love that there are all these galleries, but I don't know. I don't know what the next thing's going to be. I didn't know the art was going to become as big as it was.
Facts.
Yeah, I turning the NFT art on was like something that someone requested one morning and took about half an hour to get implemented, and then the entire world blew up with NFT art. So I don't know what the next feature that will turn on that will take half an hour to implement and will totally blow up is because. And that's with CryptoVox. We just try and make infrastructure that works, make the ability to easily build out the city and do stuff with it. But then you add these little tiny features, and these are the things that blow up. And I don't know what they are. One that we're working on at the moment is animations, so that avatars can have multiple animations. So instead of just, at the moment you can just walk around and you can run, but you're about to dance, you're about to wave, and you're about to do all these different
Oh,
things.
emotes, just like
Uh,
the dancing in Fortnite. You can do like a floss
yeah,
in Cryptovoxels.
exactly. Like Marcus is really keen on that, and I think it's really cool. And we'll turn it on, and it may be that no one really cares that much, and it's kind of like a neat feature. Or we'll turn it on, and it'll totally turn the world upside down. There'll be a million dance clubs. I can never really tell what is going to be the big feature next or not.
I could speculate a little bit. Maybe physical assets represented through supply chain. It may still go back to art, just like any physical item that you go to the store for. They spent more money on the art on that box than they did in any other part of that project, whatever. Like the cereal box, that art on it was the biggest investment they made was for that art.
Yeah,
How the money, that psychology that goes into it, and everything else. And I think that's still gonna stand. But you may have this NFT for say like gorilla glue, like a strain of cannabis, and you can redeem that NFT for a physical like a gram of gorilla glue at a dispensary through supply chain. So you actually have the NFT that has a serial number linking it to that strain that came from that supply, blah 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 blah. So maybe like physical items being tokenized.
all right. I just yeah. Sorry, can I just take 1 second? I'll
Yeah,
be right back.
no,
Is that
no
okay?
problem. Yeah, no, I
Sorry,
get
sorry everyone.
it. Busy over there, guys. I think he's at a conference. I wonder. I'm gonna have to ask him what N spiral is, because I've been staring at that whole podcast and I have no clue.
I'm just gonna change location.
I was just gonna ask, what is N spiral? I saw the poster right
It's
behind
a
you.
it's a dev academy, so it's like a people come here to learn to program, and I've got some office space here, and it's really nice, lovely people, and a really cool class and stuff. So it's I really enjoy spending time here. But yeah, they're this is like their fortnightly kind of like cleaning party or something. So it's
That's
just
cool.
a little bit hectic.
Well,
Yeah, sorry, go on.
that's camaraderie building and all that. That's team exercises. I can get behind it. But yeah, I like I was mentioning, I think like the physical things may be next outside of like virtual non tangible items. I think when I was again at NFT NYC, I saw Nike talking about tokenizing their shoes, physical shoes that will have an NFT to represent the transaction or the ownership of the shoes. So I think
Yeah,
physical items, like if I own these Nike Air Forces that have an NFT representation, maybe with your Cryptovoxels wallet porting, I could drag and drop my shoes into Cryptovoxels, and now my character's automatically wearing the Nikes I just bought at Modell's.
yeah, exactly. So when I first was working on crypto, like building out kind of stuff, and people starting to build stores, I really wanted to build an ability for a cart, and I think this is something you could do with scripting now. But you can store your uh, details of where you want something delivered to, and then you could look at something in Cryptovoxels, and then you could click buy, and then it would auto populate your cart, and it would send it through to you. So you could actually purchase stuff in virtual and get it delivered in the real. Like
That would be
that's not
weird as hell to see like a Walmart in Cryptovoxels. I can walk down the aisle, take out a shirt from the rack, look at it, and be like, buy. And just like Amazon one day delivery ends up at my door the next day.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, right? And like I like shopping, but I like shopping in Cryptovoxels, but at the moment, shopping for art in Cryptovoxels is so basic. Like you collect, it's clunky and it's slow. You can't just go through and click a whole bunch of prints that you like and quickly buy them. It's there's a long way to go before that becomes seamless. And I think once we've got digital arts working seamlessly, then we could start working on like um, on getting
What's
physical things
holding back
delivered.
the seamlessness? Is it the tech that doesn't exist yet, or are these things that you're waiting for, or is it just
I'm pretty sure we could build it all out. Like recently, we changed it so when you click on the NFT, it shows the embedded version of the OpenSea pages. But I think what we really need to do is we need to build out a better NFT detail. So when you click on the NFT, if you want to buy it, there's a button just there. It launches the transaction. It should be really fast. It should just be a few clicks, and it's almost there. But it's just sometimes it's like that. Something will click one day or something. Someone will mention something in the Discord, and you're like, oh god, that's so
well,
easy to
I
do.
know
Turn
that
it on.
like OpenSea API can be a little bit clunky for projects that utilize it for things that work one day and then they update it, and the next day you didn't realize OpenSea changes something in their API and you have to go and do something.
I find OpenSea awesome actually. Like we use it for all of our listings, and I absolutely rate the site. It's amazing. They're really kind of dominating in the space and doing a good
Yeah,
job.
they are.
But yeah, but like I don't know, there's something not quite right there. I guess the other thing too is like a lot of these arts are expensive. Like most
Yeah.
people are listing ERC 721s rather than ERC 1155s. So when you go in there and you see three cool pieces of art, you can't buy a digital copy for for a couple of bucks each. You're looking at spending half an ether on most of these ones that are listed for sale. So it's not so much a insta buy. It's more of a I'll think about that and come back to it and put it in my cart and then come back to it later. I think if there were more galleries where you could buy copies of arts for a what do you call it, just like an impulse buy, I think that might be partly what would unlock this kind of behavior.
Yeah, I think that's more of like a commercial utility than it is like an independent artist utility. Like independent artists will probably value their physical or non tangible art, whether it's tokenized or whatever, because they're independent artists, young, starving, whatever the case may be. But maybe when you think of like things along the lines of like Hallmark, I could always see like the Hallmark getting into NFTs and having very cheap birthday card NFTs that I could buy from Hallmark's OpenSea store, and then I could send it to your like MetaMask wallet or whatever, and you could see like, hey, Ken spent like $5 on this birthday card NFT. Thanks, bro. And you could pass it on to somebody else when their birthday comes up.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't think it has to be the extent of someone being like a Hallmark kind of operation. You could have, independent artists building NFT 721s, with unique, very limited edition. But then also they may have like some kind of more common art, which, they sell more of it at a lower price. Like maybe you do sketches and you sell them as 1155s, but then your full on digital prints, you do them as 721, stuff like that. So, which
How
would
do we
might
get
make sense.
Banksy in this? How do we get Banksy to go into like how Banksy just shows up in New York City and vandalizes a wall? How do we get Banksy to just show up in Cryptovoxels, create something, and walk away?
I I'm I'm okay with Josie being our big
She
celebrity
is
at the
our
moment.
Banksy. Facts, facts. Josie is our crypto Banksy. I love it. I do. I
Yeah.
love. I have some of her art. I have posters that have the NFT representation. I never even took the posters out of the tubes, because I don't want to damage the art. And I have the prints to represent the things I own, but like I don't want to damage the legit stuff. So, it's funny you mentioned Josie being our Banksy, because that's true. But I would love to see these legacy artists outside that have no interest in crypto see the utility and have that experience, but I don't know if it's a user friendly creation process, if it's user friendly enough for these artists to drop the paintbrush and pick up the mouse.
I think the cryptosphere will be that big eventually. I think these virtual worlds, Cryptovoxels and others will, very well could end up being massive mainstream things that lots and lots of people use. But I'm quite happy with it being this cool little indie scene at the moment, and it'll be cool to watch it grow, and it'll be really fun too. But we'll have so much different. It'd be quite different, and it'd be so different if all this becomes mainstream. It's like watching small websites in 1999 versus how massive Facebook was in 2010. It's kind of like a whole different world, and it's so hard to imagine what it would be like if we had these massive artists in there.
That is a good point, actually, to relate. And that's a good catalyst for like the potential that we're not going to be able to foresee. You could have the best hindsight imaginable, and you're still not going to be able to predict the utility that this is going to beget. Because the I think really right now we're stuck in a box. Like my age, like 20-year olds up, are stuck in this box because we grew up outside of this virtual space and had to adopt it as it grew. But the younger generation, they're already immersed in it. This is like day one, 5 years old, they got an iPad and they got Angry Birds and Fortnite V-Bucks, and this is common space to them. Like, so what they're going to do in this environment, we can't fathom. We cannot even begin to guess what this will look like in a mainstream environment. We're at that 1%,
I think
adoption.
that's a I,
Like
I
who
think that's a
saw
really
Call of Duty coming from Pong?
Yeah, well, exactly. I think that's a really good point. Is that these people will grow up inside these virtual worlds, and the virtual worlds existing and being by default normal. Versus to
Mm-hmm.
me, we're building this, but it still feels weird. It still feels like you're trying to cram the real world into a thing. Whereas if you grow up with these being normal and these just existing, then yeah, it won't surprise me that you won't. You'll of course take it totally natural that you own digital copies of art. That you go to conferences in virtual in VR. Like that'll just be totally normal. And yeah, whereas for me, I still find that quite a head trip trying to the amount of stuff like that people do in these worlds.
All right, so I know you have to get going soon. Let me know whenever you got to run. I wanted to drop a question. Josie actually requested. She wants to know what are the timelines on neighborhoods outside of Origin, and how will property retain value in Origin after neighborhoods are available with more plentiful and cheaper land?
Yeah, so when we were still selling like the first 100 or 200 blocks of land in Origin, I in back in my head I was like, maybe we'll just sell our Origin City 3,000 parcels, 2046 I think it is, and then we'll just turn off minting. It'll just be this cool little one city project. And then after a while, it started getting bigger, and then kind of got, well, one day we will start to sell out. It looks like we'll sell out sometime this month. And then I talked to the community, and I was like, so what should we do when Origin City sells out? And what we've decided, I think, is we're going to have a month of FOMO where we don't sell anything more, and we just talk with the community what to do. And the community seems really keen on the world growing beyond Origin City. You'll get to the edge of the city, and there'll be programmatic rivers and gardens and trees around it, and there'll be a couple of bridges that go out into the rest of the world. And I think we'll have towers of apartments so that people can buy more affordable parcels. And I think we'll have big kind of tracts of land which are developed by different people and by different sort of communities. But the goal is to always feed everyone back to Origin City. The goal is to always make Origin City kind of the best and the most interesting bit, and everyone look towards it because it's Origin City that is the core of the city. It's where all the best content is at the moment, and it's where everyone that let this project come to life sort of invested in. It's where they got started. So the goal will always be to do everything we can to grow Origin City and to put more interest in it. But I don't think we can fit another 9,000 people into Origin Cities, and we have to build that side. And I think the community wants that. So in discussion with the Discord, that's the plan of what is what the community wants, is what we build outside of Origin City.
We have an interesting comment in the chat from Bobby Light 720, and I'll add to this, Bobby, if you don't mind. How do I, Bobby's asking, like, how do I get Coca-Cola to pay me for ad space in my parcel? I think, to run on this a little bit, I think that has to go with, what we were mentioning earlier with these virtual reality conference organizers. I do firmly believe, and I've seen this already happening, virtual reality realtors. I went and I had a realtor basically buy me my Cryptovoxels, actually, because I didn't want to go through the process. So I reached out to a friend, Steve Wand, and was like, hey, buddy, hook a brother up. And, he grabbed it for me and hooked me up with it. So I think, and even when I went for Sandbox and I think, what's the other one with the llama? Upland. I reached out to other people and were like, hey, what's a good area to buy property in, because I don't want to just buy a random row home. I want a good corner storefront kind of a deal here, or something that will gain interest. Like, what neighborhoods have good, when you're looking at buying virtual space, you want to look at the neighborhood, right? So what businesses are around the land that you're buying, and will that attract people and X, Y, and Z. I think that goes to getting Coca-Cola involved in Cryptovoxels, is by you becoming the realtor and going out and knocking on their door, sending them emails, and approaching them with the utility concept. You have to show them and educate them as to why this is an investable opportunity for them, because they have no clue of this space or technology. So I think starts with potentially proof of concepts, where, like, the Bad Crypto podcast has their logo represented in Cryptovoxels, and what does that do for Bad Crypto podcast is, these stats, and then you take those stats to Coca-Cola and represent, the proof of concept from there, Bobby Light. But I want to see maybe what Ben thinks of, like, these virtual reality realtors, and how do we, maybe get that billboard ad space. If I buy this land here, how do I reach out to, companies and maybe get them to rent it from me for like a billboard or ad space?
Yeah, so like Conlon brought up as like a private sale, and so I haven't done that since. But what Conlon did is he built a bunch of awesome stuff in Gangnam and made it kind of this super artistic, like really kind of raised the bar on some of the, along with OSM, Orange City Markets, like raise the bar on what a neighborhood could be in terms of cohesiveness and in terms of art quality.
Sounds
And
like a
then
contractor.
yeah, well, and then to make a return on his work, he rented out a bunch of land in Origins in Gangnam, and that's been really awesome. And the thing is, the way he does that is it's very kind of, it's off chain and it's kind of informal, and it's kind of a process that he does. And I think it's the same with realtors. If you want to buy some land, you go and talk to a realtor, and then they just kind of do it, and then maybe you transfer them a little bit of money, a little bit of ether, and then they go and purchase for you. But if you want to lease some land, if you want to lease a sort of advertising space, I think with time all these things will get automated, and there'll be nice processes for them. There'll be an Airbnb for purchase, for renting some land in Cryptovoxels. But then eventually all of that will move on chain as well. So then you can have these contracts which become available, and you can have multiple little apps that will allow you to buy advertising space, allow you to rent a land, an area for a conference or for an art gallery opening and stuff like that. So I find it really interesting that do this as a process, and then they automate it a bit, and then it becomes an on-chain thing. I find that really interesting.
Same. I'm looking forward to it, and I don't know if you're familiar with Grow Your Base, but they partnered with somebody recently, and it's eluding me. I cannot remember the partner, but they made it possible to basically earn interest or get a loan on your NFTs. So, like, I think the economy hasn't really been established in virtual reality as much so as, like, to represent the physical economy for land or real estate. Like, you have a contractor, I have a real potential realtor with Bobby Light, and I think that these are the things that are needed again for the mass adoption to even happen. So this is all happening naturally because it's self-incentivizing. The early adopter, early opportunities that exist. Century 21 doesn't stand a chance on Bobby Light if he starts to establish himself as the Cryptovoxels realtor today. So the opportunity is actually the incentive that will beget the evolution that makes it possible to actually have mass adoption occur. So the dominoes are being set.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, like buying land in Cryptovoxels or in these other virtual worlds or in NFT spaces is so easy. Even with a realtor, like, it's so easy to organize versus trying to do that in the real world, where you have to have lawyers and there's crazy forms and there's really old processes. And if you want to apply for something, they have to answer a million questions.
No.
Doing real estate in the crypto space is, it's hard to visit. You got to put on a VR headset and you can't physically touch it, but it's a lot easier than doing real estate in the real world.
I don't think people are ready for this, but your landlord's probably going to be 10 years old. And if you ever watched Funny or Die, Will Ferrell, Where is My Money? I want everybody to go Google this. Will Ferrell, Where is My Money? Funny or Die. That is your future landlord in Cryptovoxels. The youth will be the adopters. It'll be the early adopters, and they'll take advantage of it. Who do you think has the corner market on Fortnite? Kids. It ain't the boomers, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's nice, actually. Yeah.
So to wrap things up here, I know you're busy and you got to get going. I do wanted to talk about one last topic, and this was I think one of the biggest topics in the Digital Bulls chat Big shout out again to Steve Wan for helping me with this. But they wanted to talk or hear you talk a little bit about the interoperability or potential for cross-platforming in a multiverse. You know, where Sandbox, Decentraland, Cryptovox, all these things work together, or at least there's portals to jump through, or some way. Like, how, just riff on
I,
that a
I,
little
I,
bit.
I find that really interesting because, when I first started working, I've been working on these virtual world projects for a while. One called Scene VR that I did was working about 5 years ago. And I thought I'd build Scene VR and it would be the best and everyone would use it. And it would be the VR world that everyone built stuff in. And so I had to have a good SDK so that people could build stuff. Over time, I've realized, and Mozilla have sort of riffed on this quite a lot, that virtual worlds, and Jin talks about it all the time in our community. Virtual worlds will probably be in the browser, and so a large part of them, and you can walk from one world, you can go straight from Cryptovoxels to Central and back again. And you can at the moment, it's a bit clunky, but eventually there'll be portals that work really fast where you are in Cryptovoxels, press a button, walk through, and then you're just instantly in Decentraland, and you leave Decentraland and you're instantly in Janus VR or some other virtual world.
Well,
I
you
think that's
mentioned
really interesting.
earlier bridges across your river, right? As you expand Cryptovoxels land, and with these multiverses, in these chains that will be needed, these bridges that will be needed to link them together. I sort of see like a potential for like tolls or something to that effect, right? Like if I'm going from Cryptovoxels to Decentraland, there'll probably be a toll or some kind of an exchange fee or rate or something, right? To that effect. Do you see something like
I
that?
don't really see it though. I see it that we kind of provide that we want to build it like the open web where there's not like paywalls or anything. You just walk straight in and you're just instantly there. But what I do think is important is that the art and the assets and the NFTs and the tokens that you own in one world should be totally accessible in another world. Like if you buy a really cool voxel hat in the sandbox, you should be able to wear it in Cryptovoxels and you should be able to wear it in the Central and you should be able to wear it in VR chat. I think if you've got Ether, you can spend it in any of those worlds. You
So
shouldn't
how
have
how
to.
do we start on this universal standard, right? Like we have
Well,
wallets that have been around since 2010 that haven't been able to agree on wallet standards since it's unbelievable. I could get every CEO of every wallet in a room and they still couldn't agree on a standard where their wallets will be super interoperable. So where do we start this conversation with these Decentraland or crypto
I, th- I
voxel conversations? How do we get that API or standard to be built?
But we already have it. Like I already, like the NFT standard, for example, works really, really well. Like I lean quite heavily on OpenSea to display our NFTs, but it would be entirely possible to read all that data directly off chain, to index all the JSON data, which is output by all the NFT collection providers. And this is just a standard that works across all of them. It's so easy to implement NFTs to be usable across everything. And yeah, I think the worlds need to interoperate together closer as well. Like I've already been talking to the sandbox. I'm going to make it so that stuff, well, hopefully, if I can work out how to do it, load their VXM voxel models that you can buy on their store and then render them with your avatar and crypto voxels. Like, I want to make all that work. And it's, I don't think there's any kind of reticence at it all. We're all just trying to exist and make these projects go. But I think the fact that we're all tied so closely into NFTs makes everything a little bit interoperable by default. And that's super exciting.
I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there by interoperability by default, and I sort of set that up there because I knew like that's exactly where we're at, where the tech is by default interoperability, but with these NFTs because ERC 721 or the 1155, it's all the same thing in all the environments. It's just I think the differences are going to be the aesthetics, just how my hat looks in Crypto Voxels as opposed to how that hat looks in Sandbox. Probably it's going to be the same hat, but it may be more of a Minecraft type of a pixelated hat rather than a shiny, rendered 3D model hat or something to that effect.
Exactly, and that's where sort of engines like Somnium and Decentraland have it easier, as they can quite happily render all content. But CryptoVoxels, we've kind of chosen this voxelized look, and like I like it looking voxelized.
Oh, I
I
love
like
it
that
too, and I
everything's
think that
strangely.
it adds
But
more utility to the art because the art that I have in my MetaMask wallet is going to be represented in a different visual way, a way for me to perceive the same art very differently in each environment, and that gives my art, my NFT, way more utility, exponential
yeah,
utility.
exactly. Like it's like you can display the same art on. can't even think of the name of it, but some of the sites that let you display your NFTs, or you can display the exact same art in Cryptovoxels. There's already that interoperability, and you're already displaying it in this 2D thing that you can print out, or in this 3D space that you can walk around. And it's so cool that you're using the same art in both. You don't buy Cryptovoxels art, you buy NFT Ethereum art, and you can use it anywhere.
Yeah. All right. So to wrap things up here, man, anything that you can drop it, or any like Easter eggs, anything you don't feel like you could say but maybe hint at, or anything you could let people know that might be like just a tease. I'm not saying pull a full Justin Sun about an announcement, but yeah, if you could just drop a teaser of something that leave the people wanting more and waiting, and then let them know where to follow you for when that comes out.
We're hoping to have like a prototype of this super realistic day night light emitting blocks, glowing city kind of thing. We're hoping to have that by the end of March. So I'd like to have some videos and like a walk around demo. We'd like that to happen in the next 4 weeks. So that'll be our teaser.
All right, guys. So keep an eye out for the environmental, effects.
Lighting, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. And I don't know if you guys play like video games like me. I'm a nerd, but like the environmental effects in like games are just it changes so much about the experience. Like for example, Apex Legends recently just changed their full on daytime theme to like dusk or like dawnish, and it's changed the energy that I feel when I'm in the environment, and they're coming out with like night themes, and it when you're in these environments in this visual representation, it's again like having those different ways to see your NFTs in different worlds. It adds more of an immersion to the experience.
I think that color and that lighting is amazing. I've been playing a bunch of voxel games on the Nintendo Switch to get kind of inspired. And like some of the ones that are set at sunset just kind of have this lovely glow to them. The ones that are at night and are shining reflective, and the lights spilling out, and there's a little bit of rain, feels very kind of neon Tokyo, kind of cyberpunk. And like at the moment, Cryptovoxels kind of got this construct from the Matrix, kind of bare minimal whiteness, but we can totally use all that geometry and then light it in different ways so that it looks like some dark, crazy nighttime cyberpunk, soul fucking dream, and that's an exciting idea.
See, my brain's already racing and waiting for Halloween themes and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like lightning in the background, and it's all creepy, and then like Christmas with snow. And dude, I'm excited as hell because right now, people don't realize, but like Cryptovoxels, I can see this is Pong, and it's also Call of Duty. You know how like it's this one thing that's starting as Pong and will end at what the Call of Duty experience is. So it's like it's one evolutionary game, and I feel like that it's so new, so disruptive to what we're used to. People haven't grasped the potential yet, and I think that the FOMO's just starting to kick in because the people that don't understand are looking at those that do, and they're like, all right, I'm missing something here. Like Nike's making NFTs, this thing, Cryptovoxels is number one like right now. What's going on? What am I missing? And I think that FOMO is getting that DOYR, where people are going down the rabbit holes, companies are coming out of them enlightened and inspired. So from the community, for inspiring the world, bro, like thank you, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I look forward to the success of Cryptovoxels. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. D69777, shout out to Steve, thank you, bro. We got Zcash in the chat. Who else was here? Jonathan, much appreciated. Identity Block, Cloud, much appreciated. Yo, what up, Zombie 3D? Bobby Light, the future realtor of Cryptovoxels. And Danny, everybody else, thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to go follow at Cryptovoxels on Twitter, and keep your eyes on the environmental effects. And Ben, thank you again, man, so much. I really appreciated this.
Awesome to talk with you, Ken, man. So awesome. Thanks for taking the time.
Have a day, everybody. We out. Don't forget, comment section, everybody. The conversation is completely in your hands. Drop comments in the comment section. Tag me, tag Cryptovoxels if you want us to chime in, if you have any questions or topics that we didn't get to touch on. Again, conversation in your hands now, guys. Have a day. Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, MonarchToken.io, the complete crypto solution. Monarch Wallet is now available for Android, iOS, and desktop devices today. Do you want to learn how to mine crypto? Well, all you have to do is visit cryptomining.tools for profitable crypto mining information today. The Divi Project, that is diviproject.org, your one-click solution for staking and masternodes. Earn cryptocurrency using social media platforms like Somee.social, SOMEE.social, New Era Social Media. Get paid to write reviews, like reviews, comment on reviews. Visit bravocoin.com and get paid to review. Available for Android and iOS devices. bravocoin.com. CoinFlip, the world's best Bitcoin ATM. Better service, better fees. Better visit coinflip.tech today. Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, monarchtoken.io, the complete crypto solution. Monarch Wallet is now available for Android, iOS, and desktop devices today. Do you want to learn how to mine crypto? Well, all you have to do is visit cryptomining.tools for profitable crypto mining information today. The Divi Project, that is diviproject.org, your one-click solution for staking and masternodes. To write reviews, like reviews, comment on reviews. Visit bravocoin.com and get paid to review. Available for Android and iOS devices. bravocoin.com. CoinFlip, the world's best Bitcoin ATM. Better service, better fees, better...